Most people see fighting games as pure competition. Two players, one winner, fast reactions, and flashy combos. That's the surface level view. Once you actually spend time inside the scene, you start to realize that fighting games aren't just about who can land the last hit. They are one of the clearest examples of how games create community, not hypothetically or culturally, but in a real face to face way. In a world where most games are shifting toward online play, team structures, and large corporate esports leagues, fighting games have stayed grounded. They are still built on direct human connection, shared spaces, and a global culture that brings different people together through a common language: competition. This video essay explores how fighting games bring together people, how they have helped shape modern esports, and why they still sit in a strange place, respected but not fully recognized despite their impact. To understand a community, you have to look at where fighting games came from. The origins of the fighting game scene aren't stadiums or big productions, it's arcades. Back then, the experience was inherently social. If you wanted to play, you had to physically stand next to someone, you had to look them in the eye. There wasn't a cue match from home because your competition was right there in front of you. The foundation never went away. Even though arcades vanished in many places, the culture remained. The local tournaments carried on the tradition. These small gatherings became the heart of the community, and honestly, they still are. There's something unique about fighting games being played in person. When you lose, you don't close the game or meet the lobby. You shake hands, you talk, you might even get advice from the person who won. Because of that, the community tends to be incredibly supportive and close knit. You don't need a team, expensive equipment, or already to be good. All you need is a controller and a willingness to learn. Communities like this don't grow artificially, they grow because people genuinely enjoy helping each other get better. The fighting game community didn't stay local for long. As the games grew, so did the network connecting players across the countries. What started as small offline gatherings in different cities eventually became large tournaments drawing global attendance. One recent example is Battle Arena Melbourne 15, also known as BAM 15, which brought together competitors from a wide range of countries. Reports from Couch Warriors describe how the event featured top players traveling from America to Australia just to compete. The level of global movement isn't something you see unless there is a strong culture drawing people in. And that's the thing. Fighting games don't require shared language or shared background. A match between two players who don't speak a word of the same language can still be immensely meaningful. The communication happens through the match itself, the decisions, the reads, the adaptation. A good comeback is universally understood. A risky play that pays off is universally understood.
Okay. Oh! Oh my God! Oh my God! How did he do that? He went past the SA3. He went for the roundhouse. He jumped over completely. Do you understand? That is a work.
The experience becomes a shared connection even when no words are exchanged. This is why international fighting game tournaments feel different from other esports competitions. They aren't just sports events, they're cultural exchanges. People bring their local styles, regional habits, and their own community histories. When these different playstyles clash, you get moments that feel historic.
For this next round, you're going to want to do more damage to him than he does to you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Oh my god, put him in the blender.
He took that too hard.
Oh my.
Here is where it gets complicated. Fighting games helped build the foundation of modern competitive gaming, yet today they are often not treated like mainstream esports. Dash Fight published an article in 2025 questioning whether fighting games are truly part of the esports mainstream. Their point made sense though. While fighting games are competitive and global, they do not get the same corporate investment or recognition as games as League of Legends, Dota, or Overwatch. Why? A lot of it comes down to structure. Most major esports rely on teams. Teams have owners, sponsorships, salaries, managers, and all that brings in money, marketing, and visibility. Fighting games, however, are mostly individual competition. There is no roster of 5 people holding a long-term contract. Sponsors don't get the same consistent brand exposure. The corporate side of esports tends to overlook the FGC. Another issue is scale. Stadium-sized tournaments do exist for fighting games. EVO is massive, but they generally don't have the same streaming budgets or stage production as Riot or Valve events. Here's the interesting part. The fighting game community has been able to stay strong without those things. The lack of heavy corporate influence has kept the FGC personal, community-driven, grounded in passion. It's a scene built from the bottom up, not the top down. There is something academically fascinating about that. A decentralized community outperforming expectations and sustaining itself for decades without relying on the industry structures that dominate other esports. The fighting game community isn't just built on competition, it's built on the relationship formed through that competition. Here are 5 cultural pillars that hold the scene together. Respect. Since the competition is direct and personal, respect plays a huge role. When you sit down next to someone at a local tourney, you are both agreeing to give each other your full attention and best effort. That creates a level of sportsmanship you don't always see online. We don't do the 4 anymore, I've noticed. I got it in your head. Shared learning. You can walk into almost any event, lose immediately, and someone will still help you improve. Experienced players coach newcomers because they want the community to grow. Improvement isn't gatekeeping, it's shared.
Act 1 doesn't counter hit anymore, but he still has like Tekken 7 level counter hit moves, like his fucking down forward 3, like his fucking he still counter hit launches.
Identity and rivalry. Different regions develop their own styles. West Coast Street Fighter players don't like Japanese players. Tekken players from Korea approach the game differently than those from Europe. These differences make rivalries, but good rivalries, competitive, not toxic. Accessibility. Fighting games don't require supercomputers or expensive peripherals. You can get into the game rather cheaply, which opens the door to a more diverse player base. That diversity naturally leads to a variety of cultures, stories, and perspectives within the community. Together, these elements explain why fighting games form a strong social ecosystem. It's not just competition, it's everything built around it. At a time when a lot of online spaces feel disconnected or overly competitive, the fighting game community represents something valuable. A model of global social bonding built on a competition, not in spite of it. The FGC shows that. Competition doesn't need to divide people. Rivalries can be friendly. Gaming can be a bridge between cultures. Esports can thrive without massive corporation control. Communities can grow from passion instead of profit. When people dismiss fighting games as simple or outdated, they are missing the point. Fighting games have created an international community that sustains itself year after year. Not because of big prize pools, but because of genuine human connection. That's something worth studying, appreciating, and highlighting. So when we talk about fighting games, we're not just talking about combos, frame data, or tournaments. We're talking about a global network of people who come together in person, online, and across cultures to celebrate competition in its purest form. It's like Band 15 and EVO prove the international scale and cultural diversity of the community. Articles like Dash Fights remind us that fighting games deserve more recognition within the esports. Ultimately, the strongest evidence is the community itself, the friendships, rivalries, gatherings, and shared respect that hold everything together. Fighting games don't need to be the biggest esport. They don't need the flashiest sponsorships. They're built something stronger. A worldwide community shaped by competition, kept alive by passion, and unified by a game that anyone can sit down and play.